So you think with the megaphone that we've got with this podcast, there's going to be an audience that's going to be willing to risk winning the bet?
Yeah, and I think we're the only chance. I don't think there is. I think that if this goes too far, they'll control too much, and then we won't have a chance.
There won't be any control left.
So this is, I mean, I hate to sound like a extremist, but that's really where we are, you know? And so I also think that there are, I don't know if this is like a divine thing or whatever, but I think that there are people in the world that were born for this moment.
Yeah.
Like we weren't born 100 years ago, we were born for this moment. And there are so many people, like I think that there's millions of people who are out there in America who are, maybe they're 9-to-5ers, maybe they're moms, maybe they're entrepreneurs, whatever, but they've been feeling this call to something bigger and greater.
Mm-hmm.
And they're supposed to be we are the resistance, and we have to assimilate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we have to identify who is the common enemy here, you know, and it is not, and I can promise you, it is not, because that's what they're doing. They are identifying the common enemy. Oh, it's black people. Oh, it's white people. Oh, it's Republicans. Oh, it's you know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, it's the anti-trans. Oh, it's like if you study like the psychology of communism, like this is the grouping of people and you know, finding these weird groups and ways to get groups to hate each other. Like that's how communism starts. It's like a lot of people probably read the Communist Manifesto. Like that is actually what it's about, is like identifying and getting these groups to hate each other. And so like they are developing common enemies, and which is a truthful tactic. I mean, from the Bible all the way to whatever, like the Bible is identifying a common enemy of humanity, you know? And if we're going to be successful, we have to identify who is the common enemy. And I can tell you this, guys, it's not Republicans. It's not Democrats. It's not black people. It's not white people. It's more basic than that. You know, there are people who are against humanity, who are doing things and pushing doctrines that make you dumber, that make you own less, that make you think less of yourself, and they're using fears, and they're using, you know, this is the only way to sell it to you. It is such a stupid thing. The only way to sell it to you is to make you believe that the earth is going to burn up in 40 years, or that, you know, your little daughter sitting at your table might die unless you put this in your body, or, you know, and then the reality is that actually didn't happen. You know what I mean? And that thing that they were just trying to put in your body, literally, if you read the news in the last 2.5-3 weeks, that actual, you know, shot is now that is no longer an accepted shot in America, that there's a new version of. But the idea there is, you were just telling me to put that exact potion in my body or I was crazy.
Or I was going to die.
And now you're telling me it's unsafe? Like literally, if you were administered that, like a doctor could go to jail or be in trouble or lose his doctorate, not go to jail, but probably lose his doctorate or something. But I'm like, dude, that was actually the exact same potion that you were just telling me I had to put in my body, or I was an extremist and an anti-American. Like, what? Yeah. And so I think we need to be very cautious with people who are driving us into fears that divide humanity, you know? And I think that I think that's what I hope, and man, that's what I hope and pray that we're going to do here is, you know, we're like a megaphone, put that message out there, and people are going to hear it. And most importantly, they're going to feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to watch these things. They're going to nod and be like, dude, I don't know what this is. I don't even know who these guys are, but you know, I'm gonna try to, you know, tune in to what's going on here. And
all right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping will happen too. And I really think that I've had some experience with Rockin' Rich podcast, and that went to the top of the food chain. And now I really feel like I kind of see where the bodies are buried and where the landmines are. And I'm comfortable doing this with you. And I think there's going to be a lot of...
You guys had millions of hits, right? On that.
Yeah, it was really...
downloads, millions of downloads.
It's gotten crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, but really, it's really, you just got to deliver something that people want, that the people need. And if you can bring it in the form of a guest or not, maybe it's something that one of us knows that can allow people to grasp what it is about manhood or money or the bet that they need. And if we can give that to them, that will be a recipe for a positive experience.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yep.
And so that's where I hope we go. And I'm looking forward to doing it with you, man.
It's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be a crazy journey. And there's going to be resistance, you know, and not everybody's going to understand, you know, but I do think that I just feel like, I don't know if everyone who watches is going to believe in God or whatever, but like most people believe in some form of God, according to surveys. And so what I'll say is like, I just think that God has spoken to people's hearts by the millions, and they're just waiting for somebody to put the call out.
I feel like there's something major brewing. There's a lot of churches that are having this Holy Spirit moment where people can feel the presence of God, and it's massive.
Yeah.
People are coming from all over the world to go to this church.
Yeah.
And it's spreading.
Yeah.
And so I really hope that the people who don't see that there's any kind of anything really going on, that we're just being conspiracy nuts, you're not our people.
Yeah.
And we can't convince you to take your head out of the sand.
Yeah.
And what I hope is that the ones who do see the reality of what we're talking about will come aboard.
Yeah.
And we can use the massive amount of power that you've accumulated over the years, just with your contacts and with your downloads and with all the stuff that you've done as a coach. These are things that come easy to you. And so I can't wait to talk about it and to tell people what we do know and what we're capable of learning together.
Yeah. And we can, you know, who knows? Like, I think we can probably have a lot of guests on the show.
Yep.
As well. And maybe people who watch would be some good guests, or maybe we know a lot of business owners or influential people that we can get on as well and hear their side. So I think that'll be another huge thing.
Yeah.
Is like, you know, getting other people's opinions and stances on this. And that's going to be really interesting because we can bring in a lot of experts on all of these fields, hear what they have to say, you know, kind of broaden the conversation there.
I really want to be the devil's advocate in a lot of this stuff. So hang on to your hats, because there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because I really do think that there are legitimate arguments on both sides. You just have to find the truth.
Yeah.
And you're right. The truth has been compromised.
Yeah.
It has been compromised right now, right here in America in a major way.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope we can identify and prove wrong.
Yeah.